Modern blockbusters hurl us through space and time with sweeping, impossible camera moves. This complex visual language evolved from a much simpler, desperate origin. In the late 19th century, the movie camera was a mechanical amusement park trick. Early films consisted of 60-second, unbroken recordings of a train arriving or workers leaving a factory. But the gimmick of watching a static, one-minute reflection of reality lost its appeal within a few years. Ticket sales dropped. The industry faced an immediate collapse because audiences were bored. Exhibitor Edwin S. Porter recognized that holding an audience's attention required a narrative structure. To save the business, he shifted the focus from recording reality to telling stories. In his 1903 film, The Great Train Robbery, Porter took completely separate shots from different locations and stitched them together into a continuous timeline. This introduced the cut and the concept of cross-cutting between simultaneous events. The foundational grammar of film editing emerged as a survival tactic to solve the industry's first major commercial crisis. By 1908, the industry faced a corporate threat. Thomas Edison attempted to monopolize the entire film business by pooling patents to form the Motion Picture Patents Company. Edison enforced his trust with an iron grip, using hired enforcers to disrupt independent rivals. He also placed strict limits on production, capping all film runtimes at 15 minutes to maximize the number of paying crowds he could cycle through his theaters. Independent creators fled 3,000 miles west to a small town called Hollywood to escape Edison's jurisdiction. They chose Southern California specifically for its distance from Edison's lawyers and its proximity to the Mexican border. Operating outside of Edison's control, these rogue filmmakers scaled up their operations. They built massive sets and began producing stories that ran for an hour or more. The geographic and physical infrastructure of modern Hollywood was established as a direct survival tactic against a corporate monopoly. Longer runtimes created a new problem. Directors had to convey complex human psychology and dense narratives without the use of any spoken dialogue. In the 1920s, Soviet filmmakers found a psychological workaround. Lev Kuleshov hypothesized that the meaning of a scene emerges from the collision of two adjacent shots. When you show a neutral expression on an actor's face and then cut to a bowl of soup, the viewer's brain automatically bridges the visual gap. The audience projects hunger onto the actor based entirely on the context. Sergei Eisenstein refined this concept into montage. He used editing as a tool to manipulate mass empathy and communicate abstract ideas without a single line of text. Eisenstein proved juxtaposing a shot of striking workers with a shot of a bull being slaughtered creates the concept of corporate oppression in the viewer's mind. Just as directors mastered this visual language, the industry transitioned to sound. Early audio gear was incredibly bulky, forcing cameras into soundproof booths and requiring actors to stand frozen next to hidden microphones. Filmmakers eventually integrated complex audio with moving cameras. Overcoming the limits of silence and the physical constraints of early audio gear permanently codified the modern cinematic language. In the 1950s, television gave people free entertainment at home, and theater attendance plummeted. Hollywood retaliated with scale. Studios rolled out ultra-wide screens and the first major wave of 3D projection to provide an immersive spectacle impossible to achieve on a small television. In the 1980s, the VCR allowed people to start renting tapes. When box office revenues dropped, studios pressed the 3D panic button again to draw people out of their houses. By the late 2000s, digital piracy and streaming services posed a new threat. The response was a third, highly expensive 3D boom, led by directors like James Cameron. Hollywood treats 3D technology as a blunt force weapon, deploying it every few decades to justify theater ticket prices against home entertainment. The 2000s 3D boom effectively functioned as a Trojan horse for theater infrastructure. To screen these 3D blockbusters, theaters worldwide were forced to abandon their century-old film equipment and install centralized digital projectors. That digital conversion created the distribution system the entire industry relies on today. Every era's existential threat birthed a permanent technological baseline for the next generation. The narrative cut, the psychological montage, the audio track, and digital projection are all evolutionary scars from an industry constantly fighting extinction. Cinema is a survival engine, relentlessly evolving its illusions out of a commercial need to keep us watching.